How you doing, man?
How you doing?
Good to see you.
Good to see you, Geraldo.
You get to smile anymore?
Of course. Smile a lot.
Do you smile when you're in a recording studio like this one doing music?
Of course. I love music.
Is it nice to get back to the music?
It's fantastic because it's my life. That's what I do.
You know, it was wonderful seeing you with the children. That, I think, is the real Michael Jackson that has not been seeing you with your own children, one in diapers, the other two toddlers. I don't know how you manage without a nanny.
Well, I enjoy taking care of my children myself. It's fun. That's why I had them, so I could take care of them, and it's great relief for me. You know, it's pleasure. It keeps me happy and laughing, and they're wonderful, sweet, innocent children. They really are.
I saw you as kind of the arbitrator between the Nickelodeon channel and the Disney Channel there. That was
yeah, you noticed.
You get some really difficult problems to solve there.
Yes.
But you have such a kind of a normal life there. It's sweet to see.
Thank you.
But
well, they bring me that, you know.
You tell me what the children mean to you, your own children.
They mean, it's hard to put it in words because they mean everything. The way you would explain how your children make you feel. I mean, they're the world for me. I mean, I wake up and I'm ready for the day because of them. I give them breakfast, I change diapers. If they want to read, we do a lot of reading. We play hide and seek, we play blindfold, and I have a wonderful time with them.
And you can create a world that at least begins to seem normal. I mean, they don't know any other world, obviously, but
I do my best, for sure.
So that is obviously a priority to you.
Yes, of course. I want to be the best father in the world, of course.
Do they know who you are or what you mean to people?
Yes, they do. They've been on tours with me and in limousines and among a sea of fans.
Do they like it?
They find it exciting. They do. They want to get on stage. They bug me to go on stage with me. So pretty soon I'm going to take them on with me and let the world see them for the first time.
They don't say, "Daddy, I want to go home and watch Nickelodeon"?
Probably.
They do that too?
Yes.
So how do you feel being here in a recording studio again, focusing on the music again? Is it a relief in a sense?
It's a great relief because it's what I do, and it makes me feel like I'm totally at home. I'm into my own. This is what I'm here for, and any of the arts like that could be film, music, you know, any type of art. I love it.
So when you're being the quote-unquote king of pop, that's when you're most comfortable?
I don't know.
Or is it the creative process?
The creative process, yes. I love creating. I love it. I'm obsessed with creating. I love it.
I saw you and Randy, the way you guys react. It's very reminiscent of the way my brothers and I are together.
Yeah.
Who's top dog?
Randy.
Yeah. That's not what I saw.
Yeah.
But you trust your family.
Of course.
And that's,
you have to.
Is it blood thicker than water thing? What is that?
Yeah, and family is everything to us. I mean, it's love. It's what we were taught, and values, and we're friends at the end of the day, which is important. Other than what the public or press people say, we're friends. We love each other very much.
So is the family still closely knit despite all the kind of tabloid stuff over
That's
the years?
sensationalism.
How do you deal with that?
How do I deal with sensationalism?
Yeah, how do you deal with everything in your life being magnified, exaggerated?
It's not true.
Almost to a grotesque
It's like looking at
state.
a fictitious movie because it's fiction. It's like watching science fiction. It's not true. And I know myself. And it's sad when other people have to read those things and they believe it. But
Do you feel like holding a press conference every week and saying, well, this is the rumor du jour? That's not true.
No, because I know eventually the truth will prevail. And I'm about truth, you know?
I've researched it, and I can't find anyone who's been more frivolously sued than you for the most outrageous reasons. One of your attorneys told me that a woman called Billie Jean Jackson called and said, "Stop accepting any paychecks, Mr. Attorney. I'm the wife," and Billie Jean taking it obviously from your hit song.
Yes.
I mean, how do you first of all, does it affect you, the rumors?
Does it affect me?
Yeah.
Yes, but I become immune in a way too. I'm very strong. I have rhinoceros skin, and but at the same time, I'm human. You know, so anything can hurt like that. You know, but I'm very strong, and I just don't like people hearing about such false information.
For instance, did you father quadruplets last year?
There was a crazy rumor that
Then they became twins, I know. I don't know what happened to the other two. Maybe they were abducted by aliens.
Yeah, I heard about that story. No, I don't have any twins. And they said I'm hiding them or something. No, it's another made-up rumor.
So it's completely false.
Yeah, I think the bigger the star, the bigger the target. I'm not trying to say I'm the super-duper star. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, the fact that people come at celebrity. We're targets. And... But truth always prevails, and I believe in that. I believe in God,
Does that faith sustain you?
Of course it does.
How about friendship?
What about friendship?
Do you rely on friends? Have people stayed with you through thick and thin? Who are your best friends?
My children and my family, my brothers and my sisters, and yeah, most people have. Most people have.
Do you want to mention the names of the True Blue?
The faithful, you would know them, so it's...
Elizabeth Taylor?
Well, she's very loyal. I see Elizabeth all the time, and she's my dear friend. I was just at her house. We have wonderful talks on the phone at night, several times a week sometime.
So how long have you two been friends?
I've known Elizabeth closely since I was 16, yeah.
And you've been making music since you were 5?
Yes.
So you're in your 5th decade. That's 41 years of making music.
Yes.
You ever get sick of it?
No, not at all. I never get enough of it.
Really?
Really.
Do you ever get sick of Randy?
Never.
He's here, Liz, Joe. That's why.
No, never. He's wonderful. He's been very supportive and amazingly brilliant, really.
They're all different. Your whole family is
Every
crazy,
brother and
eccentric,
sister is
like my family.
completely different. Like any family, you have all the different elements, and everybody's different. That's what makes it a family.
When you have such intense scrutiny, how do you live any kind of normal life? How do you, have any fun outside of your own property?
I don't. I go off property sometime, but not all the time. I create my world behind the gates, because I can't go to the local movie theater down the street or the local park down the street or go pick up ice cream at the market, at the corner store. So you want to create that world behind the gates, and that's what I try and do. And it's not just for me if I could share with my family or friends or whoever I do.
And that necessity for some privacy drives all these crazy rumors and speculations. So it's a difficult balancing act that you have to endure.
Yes. It's part of what comes with celebrity.
But you're not complaining, are you? I
No.
don't. I try to, rub it off. Not that I don't know what I'm the king of. King of getting shot at, maybe.
No. King of journalism.
So what is it about children in distress? You mentioned the tsunami relief effort.
Yes.
What is it? Is it your own fatherhood that motivates that?
Caring and reading the Bible, learning about God, Jesus, love. Jesus said, bring on the children, imitate children, be like little children, and to take care of others, to take care of old people. And we were raised with those values. Those are very important values, and my family and I, we were raised with those values, and they continue strong in us today.
What do you think about the way the nation's faith is? It seems to be solidifying, actually, ironically, more than the other way around. Or maybe the country is dividing between the faithful and those who are more skeptical. But what do you think about the state of the nation?
In what way?
In terms of faith, yeah. Faith, belief, community.
For themselves or?
Both. Did you pay attention to this last election, for instance?
I don't follow politics, really.
So you're not a Republican or a Democrat?
No.
What do you think of Arnold Schwarzenegger?
I really like him as an actor. Act in his motion pictures.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay, the Terminator. All right.
I love his movies.
What about movies for yourself, again?
I love him.
We'd love to... You had The Wiz and some of the others, but we haven't seen you on the big screen in a while.
It's because I'll be directing myself. I love directing. I love creativity. And I think when an artist steps forward with a production of some type, if he can express himself the way he sees it should be done, I mean, I feel it and I see it. I'm visionary. So if I can give that, I do. And that's what I love to do with music, with film, with dance, with... I love the arts.
And do you think art has a role in real life? And I'm specifically referring to this record and tsunami relief.
Yes.
Draw the connection. How will it... First of all, what motivated you to do this? And then we'll talk about what impact you expect it to have.
What motivated me to do the song?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I tell you what, better yet. You're doing this song for tsunami relief. Tell us the moment you recognized that this disaster was so extraordinary.
I saw it the day after, I think it was, yeah, after Christmas. And as the numbers kept building and escalating, it just became phenomenal. And not even I could believe that it was true. I was amazed. I said, I felt I should do something. That's what God gave us talent for, to give and to help people and to give back. And so my brothers and I decided to put a song together and
would you pick up the phone and say, "Hey, bros"?
Yeah,
let's
Randy
get together
and myself, again? Yeah.
Is it really like that? What'd you say?
It would just say, "Hey, we want to do something in the studio for the tsunami victims, and let's get together." And they'll say, "Great, let's do it." And we'll organize it.
However, you're back. I think people will appreciate the fact that you're back. Wouldn't you kind of exult in a world where you could concentrate on your art and your kids? And
I would love it. I mean, that's what drives me. Is the medium, the art. I love it, and that's the world I'm most comfortable in.
Gary, Indiana. Did you ever expect where your world would be as a 46-year-old man?
I never thought about it, really. I never thought about it. I knew I wanted to do something wonderful in my life and to help people, and but I never really clearly thought about it when I was really little. I just sang and danced and didn't understand why people were applauding and clapping and screaming, and you really don't. You don't know why.
When you grow up like that on stage, when do you get it? When do you understand where you fit into society?
I think it takes longer when you get older. You start to have a more rounded personality, and your brain starts to grow. You start reasoning and understanding more things and researching. That's how it happened for me. Isn't
it nice to have a conversation on television where people can hear you just being ordinary, normal, reasonable?
I'm like this all the time. I'm just being myself. Well, God bless you. Thank you.
At a certain point, Michael Jackson and the brothers Jackson kind of separated artistically. Is this a moment in your life where you're coming back together? Obviously, you'll continue your solo career, but what's the big plan? What's the big picture at this stage in your life? What has been left unachieved? What would you like to do?
There are a lot of surprises. Film. I love film.
What else?
Well, it's not just so much film, but it's innovating it and pioneering it. Taking the medium to a new place, because I use the music video medium as a short film medium to take me to the next level, and I'm having a lot of fun, I think about it sometimes, but I try not to think about it too hard, because I don't want my subconscious mind to think, look, I've done it all, you're done now. And no, there's so much. That's why I don't put awards or trophies in my house. You won't find a gold record anywhere in my house, because it makes you feel you've accomplished. Look what I've done. But I always want to feel, no, I haven't done it yet.
The king of pop, and now I look at some of these performers. There's 50 Cent, and there's another one, I forget his name, but they're well known because they survived violent attacks where they almost died, and they're into hip-hop kind of, it's a different era now in popular music. Do you think that you'll be more like them, more urban kind of, or do you think the world will come back to more pop and traditional rock?
Great music and great melodies are immortal. I don't care, fashion change, culture changes, customs change. Great music is immortal. We still listen to Mozart today, Tchaikovsky, Rachmaninoff, any of them, any of the greats. Great music is like a great piece of sculpture or a great painting. It's forever, for generations upon generations to appreciate forever, really. And I know that's a fact.
On the other hand, I interviewed Barbra Streisand at one pivotal point in her career. She was going to do duets with the Bee Gees and other popular artists. She really kind of changed the tempo to surprise people. Would you ever consider more of a hip-hop approach?
I've done a lot of it, in my true opinion.
But I mean,
Sure.
kind of rappy.
Where I
Give me
rap?
you want to rap?
No,
now?
I
You want to give me an example?
I don't really rap, but I could rap.
I'm Michael Jackson. I want to say.
I've written songs with rap verses in them for very famous rappers, but they're much better at it than I am. That's why I won't compete with them.
Don't you appreciate, despite your isolated life and despite the fact you've been a star so long, you still have what appears to be a very profound and passionate relationship with the community?
Welcome to Neverland, and Merry Christmas, and have a wonderful day, okay?
Does that support you? Does that sustain you? Do you agree with me?
Yes, I do agree, because it's important to love your neighbors.
But where does it come from? Where does that almost instinctive love of you come from? What do you think?
I truly think it comes from my mother and God, and the way we were raised, and the values my father instilled in us as youth. And she was always there with the Bible, teaching us. We'd go to, service all the time, like 4 times a week. And I'm so glad we did that, because those values are very important. I don't know if I could have done as well without them.
Do you still spend time with Mom and Dad?
Yes, of course.
They're not far from here right now.
That's right.
And what is that relationship all about? I'm so close to my mom, obviously.
It's wonderful, actually. At this season in our lives, at this stage, I think you tend to appreciate who your parents are more and what they've done for you. You almost start to retract everything and where you are in your life and all the wonderful things they instilled in you. You start to see them come forth, to take fruition in your life. And I'm starting to see a lot of things, traits that my father influenced me on, and my mother, and so it's been amazing.
My friend Cheech, who you know, whose partner Tommy Chong helped discover you guys,
I like that
Bobby
guy.
Taylor and the Vancouvers. Yeah. He says as he gets older, he looks at his father's face in the mirror. Do you feel that? Are you becoming like your dad, or do you
I'm
see
very much like my father in a lot of ways.
Tell us.
He's very strong. He's a warrior. He's always taught us to be courageous and to be confident and to believe in our ideals, and no matter what, no star is too far to reach, and you never give up. And our mother taught us that as well, no matter what.
So you're a warrior also?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's the way you see yourself?
Absolutely.
But tell us more about how you see yourself.
How I see myself?
Yeah.
You have to tell me. No. I try to be kind and generous and to people, and to do what I think God wants me to do. Sometimes I pray and I say, where do you want me to go next, God? What do I do from here? So I'm very spiritual in that way. I always have been, though. It's nothing new.
Did you ever see the movie Finding Neverland or read about James Barrie, the man who wrote Peter Pan?
I know a lot about Mr. Barrie. I shouldn't say a lot, but I've always appreciated Mr. Barrie's work, and I've been a fan of Mr. Barrie for many, many, many years.
You know, he had a rocky road. It's similar to you. I don't want to get too far into it, but tell us what led to the creation of Neverland. I mean, specifically the place. There's 2 Neverlands. There's 3. There's the Peter Pan's Neverland, there's the Neverland in Michael Jackson's mind, and then there's the physical place that you created up there that I visited you when you brought up all the inner city children. Why did you create that place?
I created Neverland as a home for myself and my children, and it was created simply. It was almost it was done subconsciously. Like I said earlier, where can I go? I mean, it's hard. I've tried to go as myself, and I've had policemen actually tell me, put on a disguise and give me an autograph from my wife or whatever, but they tell me, why are you out here like this with no security? So, and there's like fans everywhere, so I can't do it. I do it sometime, but it's very difficult.
But you owned Neverland before you had the kids. Was it for you, or the exotic animals, were they for Michael Jackson, the child?
Oh, for me.
Yeah.
And for sharing with others.
Spirit?
For me, and sharing with others, because it gave me a chance to do the things I never got to do when I was little. We couldn't go to the movie theaters. We couldn't go to Disneyland. We couldn't do all those fun things. We were on tour. We were working hard, and we enjoyed it. We did enjoy it, but this allowed me to have a place behind the gates where the entire world, everything that I love is there, you know?
You create, like Barry, this imaginary or imaginative world. Do you ever outgrow something like that, Michael? Do you ever, think, oh, this is silly to have the llamas and the little choo-choo train and the rides?
It's calling God silly if you do that.
Tell me.
Because God made all things great and small. So that would be wrong. When other men have their Ferraris, or they have their little, if it's an airplane or a helicopter or whatever they find, wherever they find their bliss. And my bliss is in giving and sharing and having simple, innocent fun.
Your homes, for all the grandeur of Neverland, your home is quite modest. And your personal style, I don't see any bling, for instance.
There you go.
How come? How can you have a big diamond thing that says Michael?
Because I'm modest in that way. And if I had it on, I would probably give it away from the first kid who would walk up to me and say, wow, I like your necklace here. You can have it. Because when I was little, stars like Sammy Davis, Fred Astaire, Gene Kelly. If I admired something they were wearing, if I simply said, God, I love that shirt you're wearing, they would give it to me. So I was taught that, that's part of a show business trait, to hand it over.
Despite the glare of the media attention, and even the day that I was there and you invited the inner city kids there, what's it like to have the kids there? Why do you do that? I wanted to ask you that question that day, but I pose it to you now. Why? Why do you, when you see those kids, tell me what's going on.
Because I think I've traveled the world over 8 times around the world, and I go to I do as many hospitals and orphanages as I do concerts. But of course it's not covered. That's not why I do it for coverage. I do it because it's from my heart. And there are so many children in the cities who've never seen mountains, who haven't been on a carousel, who haven't petted a horse or a llama, who've never seen them. So if I can open my gates, and those gates open, and that bliss, an explosion of screaming and laughter from the children, and they run past the bridge, they run on the rides, I say, thank you, God. I feel I won God's smile of approval, because I'm doing something that brings joy and happiness to other people.
So you're close to your siblings.
Yes.
How does it affect you then when they get involved, like Janet's Super Bowl flap?
Actually, I was looking right at it, and I didn't see it. Controversy the next day, I said, that's not true. I saw none of it, so.
Do you think the controversy was overblown? And do you think it's a Jackson-related phenomenon, or is it a testament to our time socially in this country?
Well, that's an interesting hypothesis, too. It's both. It's hard to answer, really. I'd rather not answer that one.
Okay. Did you call her and say, don't sweat the small stuff?
Yeah, something like that. Be strong. This too shall pass. Don't worry about it. I've seen worse things. I said, Janet, I once, you're too young to remember, but I once watched the Oscars with David Niven on it, and a naked man came running across, streaking. Now, he didn't get there on his own. That was organized, but they didn't say much about that. I'll just say that much. That was live around the world.
Let me say,
the next day it was a joke.
It was a joke. I think there is a Jackson component. I think there is.
You can say that.
Okay, I just did.
You can say it.
I did.
Okay.
I think it was exaggerated, and I think that the Jackson connection was part of the reason it was exaggerated.
Thank you, Earl.
So as you go forward in this record, what are we going to expect? They're going to hear this on the radio, and then people are going to send in their money, and it's going to go to these kids in the Indian Ocean region?
I would like that very much. Very much.
Now tell me how that act of largesse, that compassion, will make you feel. How do sometimes I think I feel better giving than receiving. I think it really is true.
It is true.
In my life.
Of course it's
explain
true.
the mechanics of that in your own life.
It's just the idea. I don't know if it's the psychology of it or what. I just love working hard on something, putting it together, sweating over it, and then sharing it with people and having them love it. And I always pray that they like it. And that's what gives me great satisfaction as an artist.
Does it frustrate you professionally or personally when people say that this Jackson project flopped or that happened? Your #1 compilation, for instance, 7.5 million copies. Now, I think that's quadruple platinum or whatever it is that you label it, and yet the characterization by some in the music business, at least, is that you're not, you're not, that it wasn't a hit. How do you feel about that?
#1, I don't know which project you're talking about, but
the compilation, the last one. It was
Compilation is over. It's a huge success.
7.5 million.
Yes, and that's that.
But how come that's not the headline? It's a huge success.
Exactly.
Why is the headline?
Because negative news, sensationalism seems to sell more than wonderful, positive news. And people rather hear gossip, I think, sometimes, than the truth. And my last 8 albums have all entered the charts at #1, and so people like to sensationalize things and make up stories and rumors, and sometimes...
Does it hurt your feelings? Do you want to scream out and say, hey, wait a second, check the numbers?
It's a commonology in mankind that I don't like, that part of it, that kind of, you know, envy. But then there's a beautiful side to mankind too, isn't it?
But not to Eminem. We've spoken about it. I think that you should. Why not?
Speak about what?
About Eminem and this disrespect that he showed you. Under said that he was piling on, and how really rude it was for someone who made his money from the community, as Eminem has, to now diss the community in the sense, and a racist, and I've said it, very bold-faced, bigoted kind of presentation. Tell us how that hurt you and how you're feeling about it now.
I've never met Mr. Eminem, and to have him, I've always admired him, and to have him do something like that was pretty painful as an artist to another artist. And it's sad because, well, I think what Stevie Wonder said is true. And I just don't want to say too much more than that. But he should be ashamed of himself, what he's doing. Stevie said he's bullshit, is what he said.
Stevie did, and
he used the word.
He is bullshit.
That's what he said. I mean, I'm not saying it was Stevie said it. And Stevie is he's amazing. He's one of the sweetest men in the world. You know.
So when Stevie said that, did you feel a tremendous sense of a reassurance of brotherly love there?
Yes, I love Stevie Wonder. To me, he's a musical prophet, and I always love him. But a lot of people respect Stevie, and he's a very strong entity in this medium, in this business. And when he speaks, people listen. And it was wrong of Eminem to do what he did. I've been an artist most of my life doing what I do, and I've never attacked another fellow artist. Great artists don't do that. You know, you don't have to do that.
I mentioned Janet's, you know, fiasco and the exaggerated response to it. Once again, do you think he only did it because he knew he could get away with it because you're Michael Jackson?
Yeah, but it doesn't hurt, really. It's silly. It's kind of elementary, but I hope he's having fun.
It's like a poo-poo joke.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it still hurts your feelings, and you don't want your kids to see it.
Oh, God, I would hate it if they saw it. I would hate that.
Do you want them to know that?
To know about it? No.
Yeah. Finally, you know, we studiously avoided the case. We've not talked at all about the case that's pending. You're under this gag order. I know that you have received the permission from the judge to read a statement.
Yes.
You know, I hate to end an interview that way, but if you'd like to read that statement now, I think it's important.
Sure. In the last 2 weeks, a large amount of ugly, malicious information has been released into the media about me. Apparently, this information was leaked through transcripts in a grand jury proceeding where neither my lawyers nor I ever appeared. The information is disgusting and false. Years ago, I allowed a family to visit and spend time at Neverland. Neverland is my home. I allowed this family into my home because they told me their son was ill with cancer and needed my help. Through the years, I helped thousands of children who were ill or in distress. These events have caused a nightmare for my family, my children, and me. I never intend to place myself in so vulnerable a position ever again. I love my community, and I have great faith in our justice system. Please keep an open mind and let me have my day in court. I deserve a fair trial like every other American citizen. I will be acquitted and vindicated when the truth is told.
Anything else you'd like to say?
No. Yes, there's something. I would love to have the public's prayers for my children and myself.
Okay, buddy, you got it.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.